All right, Bitcoin with not a lot of momentum yesterday. The market really doesn't have a lot of momentum right now. We're stalling, we're slowly going up, and that will likely be met with some selling pressure at some point. Welcome to Altcoin Buzz Trading. I'm Randy. Today we're going to talk about BTC, a potential short trade in ICP, Internet Computer, and then Pepe, which is our leading top 50 mover today. So let's get right to it. BTC here. Yesterday we talked about a low volume rise. Well, what did it do yesterday? Low volume rise. So it pulled back in a little bit today and in a little bit elevated volume compared to yesterday. And finding support at the 65,527, but so far not really that interested in making any upward progress. We could make another leg or two higher, held up by this trend line. But once that starts to give way, we'll see if we can form any sharp patterns or if momentum is just gone and then we roll right over. But don't have a lot of faith in the market right now for longs at this moment. Everything pretty much seems to have lost momentum, broken a lot of patterns. The market's already in a correction, as we know. So let's uh, let's look for shorts in this environment for the most part. I'm going to talk about our hot coin Pepe first, and then we'll talk about ICP, which I think is a more enticing situation. Pepe is actually not doing too bad today, though, in this market environment. Looking like about a lot of other coins, the main difference is the volume on Pepe has been pretty consistent, and today hitting our list of top moving coins. But unfortunately, coming up to a resistance point on this trend line, and so we'll see how far we're able to go in this environment where buyers are very nervous. This may have a hard time actually breaking out, doing good things. But if it does, and you want to go with it, make sure you have a tight stop loss. I would argue if we do break out up there, if that's where you decide to buy it, your stop loss here is about 9%. I would argue that's probably too wide in this environment. And if you have a really wide stop loss like that, it really requires a smaller position size. So maybe cut your position size in half or even a quarter, depending on the amount of risk you're comfortable taking. Okay. All right. Now on to ICP. I'm excited. This is a juicy one. ICP, head and shoulders pattern. Let's just get rid of that. Get to the meat and potatoes of it. Head and shoulders pattern is a pattern of declining volume on bounces. So first you have a very high volume bounce right here. High volume move up, then you come down, then you come all the way back up, surpass the what's called the shoulder, the left shoulder. You go to a high which has lower volume than the first high. And yes, this is multiple candles, and yes, this is one candle, still fine. Okay? A low volume high comes all the way back down. It doesn't have to come exactly to the level. This one did come down pretty darn close though. You see, this is called a neckline now, where those two lows intersect. You see necklines at angles, different angles, horizontals. This one's almost horizontal. And then it goes back to an interim high on lower volume, which is what we've been discussing. And then it starts to roll over. And the target for your head and shoulders pattern is actually the distance between your head and the neckline. And that's exactly what I've done here. I've transposed that target down to the 550 level. And we're at basically $15, 14.75. So this is a potential trade for 66%, which right now, I guess 62%, close enough, which potentially has a risk reward, uh, about a 12% stop. I don't think it's quite 12% when you get it all said and done, but this is a potential risk reward trade that's actually pretty good. Oop, that's a long trade. That's a short trade. So, I mean, just quick numbers, a risk reward ratio on something like this from a 12 to 60 is pretty darn good. You don't even have to have me draw it to see that. But just so you can see, it's a 6-to-1 risk reward trade. 6-to-1. So, not too bad. Noticed it a little bit late. Wish I would have noticed it yesterday or even the day before. But with a couple of days of hindsight, it definitely looks like an interim top now. Okay. And this pattern does look complete. Now, your technical entry point for this actually isn't until the neckline down here at 1074. Um, but by noticing the pattern early, as we've done here, there's a definite possibility to take an entry position with the stop up here. And with the market looking like it's looking, this looks like a more likely trade than a lot of longs that we see in the market right now. So this would take a little while to play out, going down 66%. I would argue in this environment with the severity of these moves, probably still would take a month or so if things get moving fairly quickly. Probably would take about a month. We did have another coin that had a head and shoulders pattern like this. Actually worked out perfectly. It was Uniswap. We didn't have it on the channel here, but I had it on my group, and boom, head and shoulders pattern. There was the target. There was the break. Hit the target. So it doesn't always work out that way, but in this case it did. And ICP, very familiar situation right now. So very interesting. I thought that was a very interesting thing to see today, and marked it out for y'all. So, all right, guys. Well, that's all I got for you. Have a great day out there. Stay safe, and I will see you tomorrow on Altcoin Buzz Trading.